This is an orientation for the Tirthan third batch, which is starting on 26th of April till 4th of May. And this is currently a place that is there in Himachal Pradesh, where a camp that we have been operating from past 20 years. And surprisingly, on this program, there's 9 girls and then 1 boy on the program. And usually, this is a camp that we used to do like a typical on-campus program. On-campus meaning children would step out of the campus and then perform these activities and then come back by lunchtime. And for the rest of the time, they're on the campus. But we changed the design a little bit this time. We wanted to make it a little challenging for children and so that they get a better experience. And as a part of that, we designed our program in a way that now out of the 9 days, there are 3 days that they would be doing one activity called as river craft. And for the next 3 days, they're not going to come back to the campus. They're on a slight smaller trekking expedition kind of a format. And this is something that we are planning to do it in like a smaller batches itself. That's why you can see that there are so many number of programs that we do because of the batch sizes. So we kind of wanted to do it in a smaller groups. And with 10 kids, we have another 13, 15 days to go. And I'm guessing that the number might increase by another 2, 3 kids also. And coming into the program, this is a program which is total for 9 days. And the first and the last day would be mostly about the travel from Delhi and to Delhi. And for the rest of the time that the kids are on the campus, they would be getting to know about 2 major activities. One of them is called as river craft, where it's all about learning survival skills in the river. And apart from that, there is also another activity called as backpacking. And this is a trekking module. And I'm just also gonna share my screen and run you through this entire program detail. And we'll talk about kit list and everything else. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, I would request you to drop a message in the chat section. Once I'm done with the orientation, I can take these questions again. So this is a Tons campus a Tirthan campus that we have got. And this is one of our most beautiful campuses that we have in Himachal. This is a pure uh, riverside campus that we have got. And this is the structure that you're seeing here. It's called as KPRD, which is like a common dining area. That's where children will have meals and kind of assemble after a while, after their activities and kind of announcements and everything would happen here. And just a fun fact, like a KPRD meaning Kana, Pina, Rona, Dona. So we wash our plates there, have water and wash utensils and all the things that are just happening. Everything on the campus kind of keep happening. And this is a camp that we have got in the Tirthan Valley. This is a riverside campus where children would be staying in a tent kind of an accommodations. And generally, these are not like a small pop-up tent. These are fixed structured tents, and they can accommodate around 4 or 5 children per tent basis. And on a typically daily basis, they would be stepping out in the morning sessions, going to the activities, and then coming back for the lunch, at least for the first 3 days. And for the next 3 days, they are on the trekking expedition. So when I'm talking about in detail about these activities, in terms of a river craft as an activity, this is all about learning survival skills in the river, where first they would understand about the hydrology of the river and the different ways of crossing the river and the safety techniques and how do you get to know about the depth and what are the measures that you need to look for when you're crossing the river. And apart from that, they would also go for like an upstream walk or we'll go for a waterfall treks. And there are also some places that we kind of do like a waterfall slide as well. So these are like multiple things that they learn as a survival skills around the water. And it's also one of a perfect activity for the children to get introduced to a water-based activity. It's not like something that they would do rafting or diving or anything like that. And it's a great place for them to try it out as well. And apart from that, for the next 3 days, they would be doing backpacking as an activity. In the backpacking activity, it's typically a trekking module, but they would be learning a lot in terms of planning and execution here. So example of out of the 3 days, children would also be going for a 2 night and a 3 day kind of an expedition, meaning they will not be coming back to the campus. So they are on the move. Like once they start from the campus, they will reach a different destination where they will trek to that destination. And then once they reach the place, they will set up their campsite there, meaning they'll have to pitch the tents, cook their own food, sleep in the wilderness, and then next day morning they wrap up everything and then go to a next destination. So like that, they kind of spend 2 nights in the wilderness, but it's a total of 2 nights and a 3 day kind of a design. And here, for them to execute that night out, they'll have to plan a lot of things before. Like example, how many tents do they need to carry, and how much of food they need to carry, and what kind of food they want to prepare on the campus. So all of this is something that we want children to take part of it, and then so that they kind of work together as a team and they execute this entire night out brilliantly. Right? And apart from that, they would also be involved in a lot of cool time activities. These are like a mix of team building activities and fun-based activities. And typically, a day on an Inme camp would start somewhere around 6:30 in the day and 6:30 in the morning. And the pictures that we have just come across, so these are something to do with the river craft as an activity, and this is for a trekking expedition, which is called backpacking activity. And this is a flow on a program where what is going to happen on a daily basis. As I said, the first day it's a travel from Delhi, where we would start around 6 p.m. And mostly the children who are attending the program are from Bangalore, Chennai, and a couple from Hyderabad also. And we will be receiving all the children in Delhi airport between anywhere between 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And after that, we will ask the children to give a call to our airport coordinator. We will share the details with them in the departure message, which would ideally come to you 2 days before the departure date. And once the children give a call to our Inme airport coordinator, we'll be waiting for them at their arrival gates itself. We'll receive them, and at around 6 o'clock is when they would be starting their journey from Delhi airport, and they would be traveling in a bigger, comfortable pushback recliner seat AC buses. And the majority of the journey is covered in these bigger buses, which are like around like a 95% of the journey. And we start at 6, and en route we will also have like a dinner break, which is around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And after that, they would be spending around probably like an hour at the dinner point, and they would start the journey. And closer to the camp, ideally they would reach a place called as Ort, which is close to the campus. And we are expected to reach this place somewhere around 6:30 in the morning. And from there, children would be shifted into smaller vehicles, like a jeeps or a car kind of a vehicles. And they would start the journey from Ort to the campus. This is around 30 to 40 kilometers in terms of distance, but this would ideally take around a couple of hours for them to reach the campus. And once they've reached the campus, the second day on the program, it's just all going to be about introduction to the team, getting to know about each other, and we do like a lot of ice-breaking sessions for the children as well. And once that is done, we would start with basics of these activities that we are talking about, which is the river craft and backpacking as an activity. Okay, so from the next 3 days, as I said, mornings they would be occupied with these outdoor activities. When I'm saying mornings, they start the day around like a 6:30 in the morning, and they will have their milk, biscuits along with hot chocolate, whatever they wish to have along with that. And at around 8 o'clock is our breakfast, and then meanwhile they'll have like small warm-up session where children would do a different kind of stretches, and this would be with mix of instructors and the kids. It's a very fun session that they do, like a minute-to-minute games or anything. Just this is entire session of 30 minutes, 40 minutes is like designed in a way that to get ready, children ready for the day. And 8 o'clock is our breakfast, which is our major meals, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner would be like a buffet system where there are options of veg, non-veg, and Jain food generally on the campus. But typically speaking, most of the food that we serve for children is vegetarian, and there are also non-veg that we serve for 4 to 5 times during the day, during the entire program duration. And for breakfast, ideally there would be eggs almost on every other day, and in some form of like boiled eggs or omelets or anything like this. And the menu is also designed in such a way that it's nutritious for the children. At the same time, these are something in terms of like taste, like less spicy and more of varieties for them to have it on a daily basis. And they would ideally leave the campus at around probably 9 in the morning, and they would perform these activity and then come back to the campus by 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And once they're back in the campus, they'll have lunch and take bath and relax for some time. They have got a relaxed time between 1 to 3 o'clock. And after that, from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, we kind of involve them into a camp-based activities. These are a mix of team building activities, or it could be learning initiatives, or it could be like a pure fun-based activities like rifle shooting or an archery as well. And this happens till uh, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. And also on an alternate day basis, we do something called as a reflection session, where we will take the children through the journey that they're going through, like ask some triggering questions to them, making them realize what these activities are about and how does this team building actually happen, and what kind of helps them to be a better team, something like that on these lines. Right? And from 6 to 8 would be like a lot of minute-to-minute games, or it could be a talent shows that we are running. And this kind of happens till the dinner time. In the meanwhile, in the evenings, they'll have a like a soup break at around 7 o'clock, and there is a snack break again at around 5 o'clock in the evening. So for every 2, 3 hours, they're well fed on the program. And we also keep them reminding about being hydrated on the camp. And we also make sure that we have got the doctors and medications and everything available for them. They're well taken care on the campus. And so this is a general design on a program on what happens for the next few days. So as I mentioned, the first 3 days would be around the water-based activity, and the next 3 days would be around the backpacking as an activity. So generally, they would be coming back to the campus on seventh day evening, and that is when they would be taking out all the stuff that they have carried for the night out, and they will take out all the equipments and clean them up and keep them aside. And on the seventh evening is when they will also do something called as a helter skelter. This is like a some we call it as an Inme Olympics as well. These are series of games that children would play together as a teams, and there are some slight small competition that happens between them also. And on eighth morning, we will have a program closure where we talk about the entire experience of the children, what they have learned, and and also they would give a small feedback for us, as for in me, what are the things that we can do better and what they like, all these details. And eighth evening, post lunch is when they would be leaving from the campus. And again, they would start the journey from the campus and reach the Delhi next day on the 9th, which is on basically 4th of May at around 5:30 or 6 in the morning. And we will drop the children at the airports at their respective terminals by around 6:30, 6:45 or so, where they can take the flights that are post 9 o'clock. So when we run the program, there are so many things that we look at in terms of safety. So one of our major things that we look at is the instructor ratio, which is 1:6, meaning for every 6 children, there's an instructor on the campus. And this is a combination of male and female instructors. And apart from the instructors, we also have a camp chief on a program, and there are doctors that are present on the campus. And generally speaking, for a doctors, like we will have from a basic medication till a nebulizer set up on a camp. And in case if there is any sort of an emergency that we need to take the children for a medical facility or anything, we will also have like an emergency vehicle with us standby all the time. And whenever they're going for the backpacking expedition, there would also be instructors that are carrying their fully equipped medical kits, right from electrolytes to basic medication to inhalers and everything that is required for them. And again, in case if there is any sort of an emergency that we need to visit the hospitals, we will have the vehicle sent from the campus. So there are different things that children would be using it as an equipment on the program. So typically there are outdoor equipments like a tents, ropes, and everything. Right? So these are all something that we make sure that these are all international graded equipments and we take care of them. And they're also like a properly logged and maintained. And before the activity session happens, there are instructors who kind of check the equipments again. And they're also like, in case if there is anything that we need to, if we see if there is a damage, we kind of discard it. We do not reuse it. So they're all well maintained and then taken good care. Medical we spoke about, we have got a doctor on the campus, and accommodation. So these are children would be staying in a tent kind of an accommodation on the campus where these are slightly larger tents. And apart from this, there is also the tents that they would be using for night outs. These are small pop-up tents, but I think these are like a 2 men or a 3 men kind of a tent. And during the expedition, there are no proper built-up washrooms, whereas on the campus there are built-up washrooms that are separate for boys and girls. And when they are doing the expedition, they will be using something called as a toilet tents. So these are like a tent structured ones where we teach the children on how to use the toilet tents, right? So they kind of have to dig a pit and do their business and then cover it back with the mud. And that's the most sustainable way to have like when you're in the wilderness. So, and during the meals, as I said, on the campus, there are 7 meals that we have arranged for the children. And every 2, 3 hours, they're well fed on the program. And when it comes to the meals that they're having on the expedition, it's children's responsibility to create this entire menu because most of the things we want children to take charge. But at the same time, there would also be instructors who are part of the group who will be there to guide children and help them out. But we want children to take charge in this typical expedition module. And travel, we spoke about, we start at 6 o'clock from Delhi, and the time that they're expected to reach the campus is anywhere between 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And similarly, on the way back, once they start from the campus post lunch, they would be reaching Delhi at around probably 5:30 or 6 in the morning on 4th of May. So there are children who are coming to the program. There must be somebody who has already attended Inme programs. There could be somebody who is coming for the first time also, right? But we want them to have like a clear expectations on a program, like what is this program that they've signed up for, and we want them to also follow some norms on the campus so that everybody on campus are having a good experience. And as a part of that, we talk about few things. Example here, like it's not really like a luxury resort kind of an accommodation. The entire idea of our program is designed in such a way that we want children to step out of their comfort zone. We want them to roughen out a little bit, go through a little bit of challenges, go through like a tough phase for them while climbing a rock or while they're just trekking up with a rucksack and everything, right? But these are all something that will eventually benefit children in terms of making them realize that their true potential as well, right? So that's the whole idea that we want to build that kind of a life skills for children. But we want them to roughen out a little bit also. But their basic hygiene, comfortability, and things are taken care of. This is important, which is about the updates. And during the program, as you all know, these are completely gadget-free programs. And children who are carrying their mobile phones, if they are taking flights, so most of them here would be taking flights, at least in this particular batch. So if you want to send a mobile phone, you can send it with the children so that they can connect with us at the Delhi airports. But apart from that, once they have reached the Delhi airport, we will ask the children to hand over the phones to us. And from then on, there won't be any sort of a gadgets with the children. They would be having like a WhatsApp channel that we have for the parents, which you would have already seen it in the orientation message also. So that's where all our upcoming communication would be coming. So it's very important that you follow that channel. And generally speaking, on any day, we will post a couple of updates. These are like a text updates, which are posted at 11 in the morning and 6 in the evening. And along with these updates, there would also be pictures that we are sending out once a day. That is generally during the evening at around 6 p.m. And in case if, so during the program time, there might be a day that you're unable to see your particular child's picture. And this is something that might happen in a like a larger groups, but since it's a very small group, I don't think we would be missing out children while clicking pictures. But at it, any time during the expedition, in case if you're unable to see it, I would say not to worry. Uh, in case if there is anything that we need to inform you, we will definitely give you a call and then keep you informed about it. Generally speaking, for a very small things like a small scratches, bruises, or probably like a headaches or tummy ache like this, we may not give you a call. But in case if we see that child is unwell for a second or a third day for a tummy ache, then we'll give you a call. If they're running on a high fever on the first day, we'll give you a call. Or if there is any time during the program we have to give an antibiotic for the children, we will again make sure that we are giving a call to the parents and inform them about the situation. And then based on their inputs, we'll also take the next steps. But apart from this, during the program time, there may not be like a typically a phone call between the parent and the children. And in case at any point of time you need to connect with one of us, you can connect with the team that you are already in contact with, or you can connect with the Spock for the program, who is Mahesh. His number is the one that you are receiving all the messages from. So at any point of time during the program, please feel free to give a call to Mahesh if you, in case if you need any details. And we will generally connect with the camp and revert back to you with information. Yep. So, these programs are something that the kids are not used to doing it on a daily basis, right? And they would go through a little bit of toughness during the challenge because it's the first time they might be doing it, or even if they have done it, we are not used to doing trekking in the mountains like on a daily basis, right? So, basically, to make this entire experience a little better for them, we would ideally recommend children to do some sort of a physical activity, like going for a walk for a half an hour on a daily basis, like for 10 days before the program, or doing cycling, or if they're into any sort of sport or any sort of a physical activity, like it could be dance or anything, right? So we just want them to do it for a 30 minutes to 40 minutes on a daily basis so that they kind of start building that kind of a stamina there. Uh, so we are absolutely having like a zero tolerance towards bullying, and there might be friends who are known to each other. They might probably pull their leg and make fun and all of it. That's all children being children, right? But at the same time, if we see anybody is being uncomfortable by others' actions, then we will take strict actions around it. So we'll, in case if we get to know about an incident like these, we will have a chat with both the parties, and we will come up with strong actions to it. Like kids will probably miss out on an activity session, or it could be there are times that we have sent the children back home also at their expense. Like we'll give a call to the parents and we'll inform them, and we'll tell them to come pick their kid up, and then probably we may not allow the children back to an Inme program ever. So we just want to make sure that everybody who is coming on a camp is having a great experience there, learning something, having a lot of fun, make friends and all of it, not to trouble each other. And use of substance, any form of a substance that we found on a campus, again, the same scenario, we'll blacklist the children, and we will never accept them to any of our ME programs. And this is on a junk tuck food that children wants to carry. Ideally, we do not want children to carry any sort of a junk to the campus because we want them to stay on the camp and have a proper nutritious meal. Because when they have a small packet of chips or anything, they may not feel hungry, and they will not have a proper nutritious meal. That is what is required for them to do the outdoor activities. And because these kind of an activities kind of takes a lot of nature, right? So they need to have a proper. And at any point of time, in case if you want to send the snack with them, you can just send it only for a travel. Again, during travel, we are equipped with snacks on the buses. But if they want to carry something like if they have favorite snack or something, they can. And once they've reached the campus, we will ask the children to hand over the snacks to us, and we will return it back to them on the last day. We don't want them to keep it in the bags or tents or anywhere. And pocket money, generally, it's not really required because we take care of everything that is required for children in terms of their en route travel, food, snack, or anything. But for the children, since all of you would be taking the flights, I would recommend carry some emergency cash with them, like a 2,000 rupees or something. And again, please do not entirely depend on our digital wallets like GPays or any UPI card or anything. Please also send some hard cash with them, which again, they can just use it at the airports. And once they're with the team, we will take care of all the requirements for them. This is a kit list for the program. You would have received this also along with the information docket in the message previously. And there are some things that you might see that are not really required for a summer camp, right? Like typically during summers, we're asking you to carry a sweatshirt, so we're asking you to carry a raincoats like that. But the entire idea of our kit list is designed in such a way that whatever are the weather conditions, like in the mountains, you cannot really predict the weather conditions all the time, right? So it might just rain during the summers, and we have seen multiple instances of it. So we want children to be prepared for any sort of a weather conditions that they face during the program time. And you would see all the things that we have mentioned here, like typically 7 to 8 t-shirts, quick dry, and a dark color ones, because these are also water-based activities, and there are girls who will be part of the activities also. So we uh, want them to have like something like a dark color clothes. And apart from that, the quick dry clothes is something that is we recommend because they're getting into water and they're trekking, they sweat a lot, so it'll be more comfortable for them. And 4 pairs of shorts. Ideally, children can wear the shorts when they're on the campus, but when they're stepping out for an activity time, at any point of time, they'll have to be in like a full track pants. And again, this is for a water-based activity when they're doing it, like river crossing and all of it, they can still wear the shorts with them during that time. Sweatshirts. So basically, the image that you see here, this is called as fleece jacket. And apart from this, there is like a hoodies or a pullovers, right? So even though it's summers, but Tirthan, it's a riverside campus. It's in Himachal where it's around 4,800 feet altitude. So there might be chances that since they're getting into water every day, they will feel a cold, and then there are temperature differences that they keep experiencing on a daily basis, right? So ideally, please make sure that the warm layers are rightly packed. Fleece jacket is something that we recommend because it's lightweight and it's keeps them warm. Apart from this, in case if you are packing like hoodies or anything, I would recommend to carry something a little thicker material, because what we are used to in South, that cold is slightly different compared to the cold in Himachal Pradesh when you're especially doing water-based activity. So please make sure that you're carrying the right kind of warm layers. And track pants, in case if you want to add another couple of them, please go ahead and do it. And 7 to 8 pairs of socks and one quick dry towel, and cap is a very important one to carry for a program. And undergarments, ideally, we would recommend children to carry a few more extra pairs, not just stick to only one a day, because for the same reasons of children getting into water-based activity, right? So we want them to have a few more extra with them. And if kids are used to having like a night clothes, then please pack a couple of them. Again, the warm jacket is basically like a fleece, yeah. And one poncho or a raincoat. Don't have to go for a thick raincoat or anything. A basic one will do. Just again like a mostly like a precaution. And in case if they're unable to get it, we have ponchos on the campus also. But recommendation is to get one on the. And another important one is the footwear on the campus. When they're going out for a trek, ideally they need to have like a good shoe. And when they're doing like a playtime and other times on the campus, they would ideally be in shoe. And the shoes need to have like a good amount of grip, and they don't require to be like a waterproof ones. If they have waterproof, great. Otherwise, at least like a good grip shoe is something that we recommend. And the second thing that you see here, this is called as hiking sandals these days, which is easily available in most of the sports brands. And we recommend children carrying something like this itself, not like a Crocs or a like a slide-ons like that, right? Because they would be running around in the campus, and there are these are not like a flat terrains. There might be like a little bit of rocky kind of terrain also. So one of the most common injuries that we keep seeing is that children having an ankle sprain, right? So that is something that can be easily avoided if they have like a good footwear for them. And when they're doing this water-based activity, which is the river craft, aqua shoes is something again we recommend, because this kind of covers the entire part. So if you're wearing this sandal, so the front fingers are still exposed to an injury, right? So if you're in the water, there are also small rocks and pebbles, and there might be scratches and bruises also. To avoid that, again, we recommend carrying an aqua shoe, which is easily available in Decathlon, and again cost around some 500, 600 rupees. But that is something that we recommend, because so that the children's feet is completely covered and they're not exposed to any smaller rocks around. Personal toiletries, again, whatever they are comfortable with, soap, shower gel, whatever they're used to. And please make sure that you're carrying a sunscreen with you and a moisturizer, something like that. And mosquito repellent, it's even though it's not really like a mosquito prone area or anything, it's wilderness, so there might be some here and there. So make sure that you carry a mosquito repellent as well. A pair of sunglasses, torch or headlamp is again mandatory for an outdoor program. And since all the children here would be traveling through flights, this is one of an important thing that you need to do. So the batteries that are there in the torch or your power bank that you require to charge your mobile phone, they have to go into the cabin bag, not the check-in one. So in case if you put the check-in bag is your bigger backpack that you carry, so if you put it in that, then they would not be processed. You will not receive your rucksack at Delhi airport. So it's important that you put this in your smaller backpack, where this is a bag that you take inside the flight, which is called cabin bag. One plastic bag or a laundry bag for them just to use the used clothes, to put their used clothes, or to have the wet clothes in. Water bottle again, 150, 750 ml is ideally uh, preferred. Like, or if you have a 1 liter, that's also great. But do not carry like a half liter or anything like that. Please do carry a minimum of like a 750 ml bottle. Sleeping bag, this is what children would be using on the campus. So when they're on the camp in the tents, they would not have like a cot or anything like that. So they would be having like a foldable mattress, which is like a 2 inch or a 3 inch thick mattress. And on top of that, they would be using a sleeping bag, which is something that will keep them warm throughout the night. Right. And again, that has got a zipper. If they're not used to having like a typically sleeping bag, they can just use it like a blanket also on top of. And if there are children who are used to having a pillow on a daily basis, they don't get sleep without a pillow, please do carry an inflatable pillow, because on the campus or during the trek, there won't be any sort of a pillows with them. And medicines, if there are children who are taking daily medications, please make sure that you send the medications in a pouch where the medication is there, and the small note on what is that medication used for also, because we do not want children to self-medicate themselves. They need to connect with a doctor or an instructor saying that I'm taking my daily medications, and then take it, give it. At the same time, we do not want them to pass on the medication to their friend or a buddy saying that I have this medication habit, right? So absolutely not allowed on the campus. And if children are having any power glasses, spectacles, please do carry an extra set of it. And since it's a water-based activity once, please do not carry any contact lenses also, because it's a flowing river and everything. It will be quite irritating. So all the things that we are mentioning here ideally need to be packed in a bag, something like this, which is called as rucksack. And apart from this, there is also duffel bags that you can carry. But at any point of time, please don't carry a suitcases or a trolleys, because these are not the right kind of a terrains for you to use it. And they also occupy a lot of space in the tent. So it'll be very uncomfortable for them through the entire journey. So ideally, a 50 liter or a 60 liter rucksack is something that we recommend for a Tirthan program like here. And this rucksack, whatever they carry from home, will be in their tent itself for the entire program duration. They don't take it on a daily basis. So when they're going for an expedition, they Inme will provide them a different rucksack where they can just put the stuff that is required only for that 2 night and a 3 day. And probably they might carry their sleeping bag and some personal toiletries and a little bit of ration that they would carry. And apart from this, there's nothing really that they need to carry. And whenever they were doing this other smaller activities, they would also require like a small backpack. And this is like a 10 liter or a 20 liter knapsack, where they can just put a water bottle, or it could be a cap, snack, or anything like that. It just that is used for a next 2, 3 hours. Cash, we already spoke. Okay, so for the children who are taking the flights, ideally we want them to uh, take it something like this, where they'll have to carry their hard copy of a return ticket. Please do not entirely depend on the soft copy like a boarding pass or, or a ticket. Please do make sure that you're sending the hard copy of the return ticket as well. And along with that, make sure that you're sending a power bank in case if they're carrying a mobile phones, and a charger. And ideally, we want children also to deposit their ID cards with us, and we will safekeep it and return it back to them once they're back in Delhi again. Right? And yeah, that's pretty much about the entire Tirthan campus. In case if you have any questions, so you can just unmute and then ask. Any questions?
No, Subbu, I don't think we have any questions.
Okay, cool. So then ideally the next message from our team would be in the WhatsApp channel. So where we would send out a departure message, which will have the contact number of the team who will be picking up the children at the Delhi airport. So that would ideally come to you by 24th evening. And in the meanwhile, at any point of time, if you have any questions, feel free to connect with me or with Mahesh or any of us who you're already in touch with, right? And yeah, we will also be putting this recording of this orientation also in the channel, just in case if you want to have a look at it later. Uh, Thank you for joining the orientation on a Sunday afternoon, and have a great day ahead.
Thank you.